Okay, everybody. Time for... Holy crap. Hold on a sec. This thing is... Alright. I'm going to make sure everything is plugged in. Alright. Okay. Hello, Phoenix. So, do we know what happened last time? That's not what I want. Di, do you remember what happened last time? Kay was innocent. Something, something, burning building, something, something. Kay was innocent. Okay, well... So, starting off, there was a show for the Steel Samurai. They were also supposed to have another show for the Jammin' Ninja. Okay? But then there was a breakout for the Yatagarasu in the area. One side was set on fire. And we ended up investigating Manning Cochin's office, finding out he's a secretary to the ambassador for the Baba Lee's division of Kudapia, however you want to pronounce it. And you're right, Kay was accused. She was found to be, well, we have evidence to find her innocent. So let's figure out more what's going on in this case. Yeah, we may actually be doing 2 parts. Go ahead and check out Poggers. March 14th, 7:44 p.m. DHM Neutralis lobby. Cut off. One. 1. Shifu. 99 call-outs. So all 99 members are most likely here and accounted for, sir. Hey, you. Yeah, you. The second #1 from my right. Sir, yes, sir. Here, a birthday present for you. What? Shifu, I didn't know that you knew all of our birthdays. What a kind heart you have. Shifu, you are more of a man than we'll ever be, sir. I'm really sorry, but it's not my birthday. Lang Z says, a cub who disrespects others soon feels the disciplinary bite of an elder. That present isn't for you, it's for your younger brother's wife's younger brother. Wait, what? Tell him I said hi and happy birthday, won't you? Yes, sir. Shifu, I can't believe you remember that much about each of us. Shifu, I'm so moved that I can't stop crying. I should probably leave them to their alone time. Alright, meeting's over, everyone. Head for your post. And don't forget about the Ace Attorney Investigation Collection. If you didn't pre-order, screw you on DLC. Sorry. It's just that this whole scene was reminding me of the advertisement that Capcom released for the pre-order where you can get 5 additional tracks for a Prosecutor's Gambit. They use this scene. Sir! Yo, were you guys there the whole time? I got a call from Sheena and she's already filled me in. You guys got the Ace Attorney Investigations Collection. It sounds like you're out to get in my way again. I have absolutely no intention of interrupting your investigation. And yes, I happen to already own the Ace Attorney Investigation Collection. I simply look really good in that game too. I also request that you grant me permission to investigate the Elbastine Embassy. And what if I say no? And what about me? Do I look good in that game?
Objection!
Agent Lang, this man is my subordinate. And yes, I played the game and you look great too. As I have received permission from the ambassador, he is to be extended the same rights. Sorry, sis, but it's not that simple. And thank you for telling me I look great in that game. I'm gonna start playing it after my job's over with. has the strictest immigration regulations in the world. Or didn't you know? Even among my elite men, about only half of them were admitted into the country. Besides, any more cooks in the kitchen and we might spoil the soup, if you get what I mean. How dare you make such assumptions? Don't take this the wrong way, but I thought I was in charge of Elvis, Miss Von Karma. Grrr! Look, try to understand, okay? Things over in Elbest are a bit of a mess right now. What do you mean by a bit of a mess? No one told you? We had an innocent in the Elbest as well. This is what we call a decision based on the investigation, Mr. Prosecutor. Look, Wolfie, just let us in already! Is there a problem here, Agent Lang? Not really, just having a discussion about whether or not to let these guys in. Ambassador Alba, I ask that you please allow these people to join the investigation. Having a debate because of my country. I'm terribly sorry for placing you good people in the kind of situation. It is all because I lack the strength to govern well. Please, it is nothing of the sort, Ambassador. You weakling! I believe his name is pronounced Quarkus? Quarkus! Curse you! Frailty and inability to affect change in your country. What are you? The thing is, investigations conducted in my country have been under Agent Lang. And it is my judgment that in order to minimize disruption in the investigation, I should leave everything up to Agent Lang. There, you see? No way! Ambassador Alba, I ask you to please reconsider letting them in Elbeth. What's that? My very own secretary has been murdered in the Belbasleys embassy. He was apparently caught up in some very shady dealings, completely unbeknownst to me. So I ask for your cooperation in our investigation. These aren't much, but I hope they can cover your travel expenses to Balba someday. Alright, I get it. Even if you beg Ambassador Alba, I still have to give the final okay anyway. Alright, you hear that, Mr. Edgeworth? We're in! Not so fast, my little crow girl! You're still a witness in the Balba murder. So, I'd like you to please stay in the Republic of Balba. Detective Gumshoe, please take good care of Kay for me. Yes, sir! Sounds good to me. The fewer troublemakers, the better. Poor Kay. Di, give Kay a hug. Give her the biggest hug you can give her. Hey, Mr. Edgeworth? Yes? So I want to ask for a while now, but that lady over there, is she who I think she is? Oh, that's right. I didn't introduce the two of you yet. Franziska von Karma, the prosecutorial prodigy. It's nice to see you again. Oh, I knew it! You're the whip lady! You may address me as Miss von Karma. Miss von Karma, I leave the investigation all best in your hands. Thanks. Rest assured I will outsmart both the smuggling ring and the Yatagarasu. The smuggling ring, huh? Perhaps I should ask Franziska a bit more about that before I head into the Elbest. Oh, and I mustn't forget that Ambassador Palino for all that he has done for me. Thanks. Thank him. Let's go and we're gonna thank him first. Ambassador Palino, I am in your debt. No, it's nothing. Because it's about all I can do for you, I'm afraid. I only ask that you please bring Manny's killer to justice. I will, Ambassador. On my honor. Wow, you're so sensational! You really piqued my curiosity. I know they aren't much, but, I'm giving them to you wholeheartedly. No, that's quite alright. Oh, well, how about this then? And what exactly is it? It's fountain pen ink, known as Belbalese ink. It's made exclusively in Belba. So this is Belbalese ink. We made it from the white crystal oil, which is mined through our mineral mines. Please accept this ink. One dip of your fountain pen is in this, and you can write for hours in your organizer. How fortunate for you, the ink in my pen just happened to have run out. I gladly accept your gracious gift. Belbalese ink data jotted down in my organizer. Great! Wonderful! I guarantee that you that writing with our ink is an unforgettable experience. And since we don't export it, if you run out, you're always welcome to come and visit our fair nation. Talk about cornering the customer along with the market. And yet I got that bottle for free. You made so much progress in your investigation in such a short period of time. It's really amazing. Agent Hicks, whose help I had requested, was cut down before he completed his task. There's no room for further failure in my perfect investigation. In spite of that, I believe you were able to obtain some insight into the ring, correct? It was nothing. I simply made some deductions based on the smuggled item I was following. You mean the Belbalese ink? But why are these restrictions on the export of Belbalese ink to begin with? These classified Interpol information. Franziska, as your subordinate, I'm part of your investigation now. Don't you think it would be beneficial if I was well informed as you? Point taken. Very well. I'll fill you in. Recently, we discovered some very well-made counterfeit bills circulating in Zhengfa. Counterfeit bills? Yes. As you may have deduced, the counterfeits were being made with Balba's special Belbalese ink. It's virtually impossible to distinguish bills made with the Belbalese ink from real ones. Thus, it was only natural for Interpol to keep an eye on the Republic of Balba. Belbalese ink data updated in my organizer. That's where this document comes into play, correct? Correct. Mr. Cochin was smuggling large amounts of Belbalese ink. Furthermore, he was charged with running the embassy's printing equipment. That's all the evidence I need to know that he was the head of the smuggling ring. However, there remains one tiny problem. Let me guess, you still have yet to find the counterfeit bills or the smuggled ink? Yes, and while we're listing things, I might as well add the counterfeit plates to the pile. Since we haven't been able to locate any of these items in the Babalese embassy, we're looking into the Albastine embassy next. Doesn't matter where they're hidden. Mark my words, I will find them. Counterfeit bills jotted down in my organizer. Oh, shall we get going? What's wrong, Kay? I didn't get permission to enter Albus, so we're going to go gather whatever info we can over on the Babalese side, okay? Alright, I'm counting on you two. Right, and I'm counting on you and Miss Von Karma to sniff out clues in Albus. Oh, and Mr. Edgeworth, if you happen to come across my phony, you let me know, okay? If you tell me, I'll rush on over and strangle away no matter where you are. I'll let you know when that time comes. He had to think about that. March 14th, 8:17 p.m. Albastine Embassy Ambassador's Office. So, you might find out that the rooms may look very similar. What do you think you're doing to my subordinate? You're... Die, guess who it is? Take a guess. Any guess. I'll give you a hint. Somebody we haven't seen in a while. That doesn't help you, does it? Alright, I will make it even easier. They were in trials and tribulation. Probably doesn't help you out even more. You can't guess, huh? You're gonna probably be shocked. You'll probably be shocked. AJ! Oh, thank the heavens you're here! You remember him? You would never have thought it was him, would you? I'm in a really big pickle, your lordship! The raven, it appeared! Poof! And then disappeared! Swoosh! And though I am the steel samurai, my sword, it... Whoa! I'm so confused! I don't know what anything means anymore! Who is this fruitcake? I'm Larry from the House of Butts. Married man at Neo Oldie Tokyo, milady. Now I remember. This person is one of your friends, isn't he, Miles? Yes, frighteningly enough, he is. Hey, what's up with that answer? You're Best bud is in a bind and you act like it's no big deal. What sort of bind are we talking about here? The suspect kind. I accidentally became a suspect in a murder! I see, that is quite the bind. Edgeworth's response to Larry being a suspect to a murder. Given the slogan, you remember what it was? Oh, don't tell me you forgot about it. Phoenix. The saying is, when something smells, it's usually the butts, not when something smells, it's usually Robin Phoenix. Not that we're in the least bit surprised, since you've been accused for like, what, 2 murders already in the past 3 games? Yes, I'm pretty much expected this news, since I had to deal with his carcass in the last 3 games. Well, we know that. From the instant I saw this unlucky face, his name is Larry Butts. I've known him since grade school, and for as long as I've known him, he has been the world's largest source of trouble with a capital T. Hey! What kind of introduction is that? You're so mean, Edgy! How am I able to read your thoughts anyways? If you're not careful, you might find your tiny number of friends go down by 1. That was uncalled for. Besides, you're... Wait, hold on. Larry! It was you! You're the one who wrote my Steel Samurai autograph! Oh, you didn't notice earlier? I even winked at you through my headpiece. What's going on? And why are you beet red? Sorry, but could you not speak to me right now? Oh, sorry, am I interrupting your comical yet melodramatic play, Dumb and Dumber? I resent that insult. Aha! So this is the incident you mentioned earlier. Mr. Prosecutor, this man, this childhood friend of yours, Dumber, is our prime suspect. Of what? Of what, you ask? Of the murder of a man who has snuck into this embassy. Mask to Mask 2. What? Die, you're gonna be like, what? There's another one? You can only make this up in the Ace Attorney game. Mask to Mask 2? Looks kind of short, doesn't he? He looks very short. Only Larry could get himself into yet another mess as fine as this. No, Ron is taller. Ron is like 5'8". This guy is like 5'1". But no matter what the facts seem to say, Larry is not the type to commit murder. Still, it's a rather daunting stroke of misfortune I've struck. I have to prove that Larry Butts is innocent of wrongdoing. Sorry, excuse me. I need to drink some cold green tea. Let me use my shaker. It's an exclusive Pugger shaker, so I'm going to make some green tea in it. Okay, I think I'm ready. There, isn't that a good plug-in? Shifu! We've identified the victim. Hey Phoenix, it's called Poggers, not Pog. Pog is a piece of cardboard. A little cardboard desk. Good work. I'll take the report now. Agent Lang, would you mind if I took a peek at it? Agent Lang, would you mind if I took a peek at this as well? What did I tell you earlier, Mr. Prosecutor? Don't get in my way. There's only enough flesh here to feed one wolf, and that one is me. So no, you may not take a peek. But Agent Lang... Agent Lang? Will you allow an investigator such as myself to take a look? Ah, yes, of course. You. Let the detective see the file. No. No, don't shorten it. If the company doesn't prefer to be shortened, you don't shorten it. And Pog is different. You're Detective Bad. You're the prosecutor, Mr. Edgeworth, right? Fancy meeting you here, Detective. You got it a bit grayer. You weren't expecting me? You got a bit grayer yourself. Ever since that day 7 years ago, I've chased after the Yatagarasu non-stop. I even pressured Interpol into keeping me in the loop, in case a card was ever found. What an incredible deduction to the case. Detective Bad knows the Yatagarasu's MO very well, and his passion for the chase hasn't died down in these 7 long years. It's something I can respect. But, Detective Bad, I must ask, are you going to make an ally out of this prosecutor? My only goal is to arrest the Yatagarasu. If he can get to the bottom of this case, then I'm willing to share info with him. I am in your debt, Detective Bad. See, I told you, Di, he's more of a puppy dog. He may look intimidating on the outside, but he has a soft, gentle heart. About the murder of Damaske too. Would you be willing to fill me in on a few of the details? When the Yatagarasu showed up, Agent Lang and I took ourselves off guard duty and put ourselves in charge of directing things at this crime scene. Taking advantage of the chaos, Damaske too, he broke into this embassy. Probably to steal some treasure or another. I suppose he lost his life when he was forced to fight someone else in this room. Why exactly was the man placed under arrest, Detective? That samurai? He was born looking suspicious, but not for the reasons you suspect, I assure you. As you can plainly see, he is completely harmless. Well, it was just a random guess. It's not like he's actually under arrest. Tonight, here at the Albertstein Embassy, Ambassador Elba was to give a commemorative speech. And that's when the Yatagarasu showed. But keep in mind, the Yatagarasu isn't who I'm talking about right now. Those seats for the guests who had been called to sit in them were empty. A no-show? Who was it that failed to take their seat? The Steel Samurai. Until the speech was to begin, each member of the entire Steel Samurai family was to wait in a separate room. However, for some weird reason, that man was spotted in a different location than his assigned room at that time. Where was he? He was on the roof, with one of his legs down a chimney. That chimney leads directly into this room. Larry Butts, you've really outdone yourself this time. What were you thinking? In any case, I believe it's high time for me to start my investigation. Albertstein Embassy Ambassador's Office. Okay. Yes? I've only just arrived in this room myself, which is why we need to investigate some more. Yes, I agree. Our priorities should be on understanding what the current situation is. Of course. There's plenty to do that from the very beginning. In that case, hurry up and start the investigation already. I will! So let's get started. In order to find out the truth behind what happened here, I should start by gathering as much information as I can. Mask to mask. I see that yet another weirdo has popped up in my absence. Yes, and as I understand it, he was a brilliant thief to whom the world was his oyster. He stole extremely valuable objects, one after another, for a while. Detective Gumshoe was in charge of the case, and not once did he catch the mask. I had already researched all of that, you know. Last year, when Mask to Mask gave himself up and was finally arrested, he was apparently represented by that man. That man. You know who he's referring to, Dai. Knowing him, I'm almost curious as to how insane that trial turned out to be. Indeed. But why would anyone want to kill Damask? I should really find out some more about this victim. What exactly is that hideous fashion pass of a costume he's wearing supposed to be? I feel like I've seen it somewhere before, but there's something different about it than what I remember. That costume is from the very first Steel Samurai. It's a live-action superhero show on television beloved by children and adults alike. Steel Samurai's weapon is the samurai spear, and it is with the samurai spear that he performs his special attacks, which enthrall all who watch them in action. You seem to know quite a bit. Not at all. And in any case, Francisco, I believe the samurai you are familiar with is the second one, the Nickel Samurai, which was part of that case last year. Do you recall that case? Yes, I remember. I believe that she's not going to get cut off either in the remake either. And we remember that pose. Though it's missing that famed sound effect. Although I much rather it stayed buried in the depths of my mind. Not that I blame her. She was shot during that course of that trial. I fear she may still be suffering great trauma over that shooting. Anyways, that aside, it looks like the Steel Samurai is the suspect this time. Yes, although that's because of who is inside the costume rather than the character. Ah! That's right! If he is the Steel Samurai, how's Edgeworth? Have you been in shock over something this whole time? No, I'm not in shock over anything. I want to forget that I had received the Steel Samurai autograph from Larry. But the autograph, the drawing of the samurai spear and the caricature of his face. Why did he waste so much time on the most useless parts of the autograph? Hey Iggy, did you say something? No, I didn't say anything. Okay. There are some weapons on display on this wall. A crossbow, and under that, a set of knives bearing a flower motif. It must be the counterparts to the Babalese knife, which means that the blades inside their scabboards should match the blade that was used to kill Mr. Cochin. I won't rest until I inspected every suspicious-looking nook and cranny. Okay. Is this spot somehow connected to any of the evidence that I hold? Di, this might be a little confusing to you, but whose spear is this? Okay, this one you're going to have to look very hard on this one. Okay, that's all of them. Larry, about the spear. Oh, are you feeling it? Bam! I thought there was something strange about the spear. Tell me, Larry. Is it just me, or is the spear a bit bent? What? No way! It's exactly as it should be! Oh! I have here the autograph you wrote for me earlier. Now, take a good look at the, at this. which you drew with your own hands. You can see that the spear is clearly of a different shape. Ah! What do you have to say to that? I'm sorry! When I hold the spear in my hands, all of a sudden I feel super powerful. And then during practice, I was spinning it around and around, and BAM! It hit the wall! So the spear sort of sustained the same bit of incident that it did in the first game, except this is still in one piece, and in the first one it broke. You unbelievable. This is an embassy. But I've always been like that ever since I was a kid. One time on an overnight field trip, I bought a fake sword and played it late that night. I'm just a useless, hot-headed man! Larry, clarify that for me, will you? Okay, so it was some field trip, and I began to shadow fight with myself. Not that! I mean, what you said earlier about spinning the spear and hitting the wall. Oh, that. It's no biggie. It's not like I left a hole or anything. That's not why I'm asking, Larry. The samurai spear is made of metal. I somehow doubt that a move as simple as spinning it around would cause it to bend. Man, Edgy, you're so naive. What? Where did that come from? Well, you keep calling it the samurai spear, but it's not real. You can't really fight someone with it, because it's hollow on the inside. You could hit it against practically anything and it'll bend. Is that so? Don't tell me you thought it was real. Oh, but don't take it the wrong way. I just think that part of your personality is cute. I see. Your friendship truly is something special, Miles Edgeworth. That's not friendship! It's utter humiliation! Samurai spear jotted down in my organizer. Alright. Knives adored with flowers are on display here. I suspect that these are the counterparts of Baba Lee's knives. Blades of the knives should match the blades of the knife that killed Mr. Gochin. What? One of the knives is missing its blade. Let's see if the two pieces, the blade and handle, fit each other here. It would appear that they fit together quite well, almost seamlessly. Then this means that an Elbestein knife did find its way into Belba. But how? Okay. So this is the victim, Damascus too. What is with his gaudy outfit? You don't know about Mask Damask? A few months ago, this thief caused a lot of havoc on the populace. So this thief is separate from the Yatagarasu? I thought they were were for a while because their MO and targets were different. The mask likes high-value trinkets and jewels, and being gaudy is his signature. Gumshoe was in charge of the investigation, so he'd know more about the mask. That's alright. All I probably hear are tales of his failure anyway. You haven't changed a bit, I see. Any case, let's get started here, shall we? I won't rest until I have inspected every suspicious-looking nook and cranny. Okay. I thought the mask had quit the business. This guy, he's just a copycat using the name, a phony successor. He's just another petty thief. His real identity is an out-of-work guy by the name of Kashinu. He's 29 and wanted on larceny charges. From his clothes and what he was carrying, we determined that this guy is the real Damask Dew. The cause of death appeared to be the loss of blood from the back of his head. It seems that he was struck with something very hard. In other words, he was bludgeoned to death. There is not a single shred of fashion sense in Damask's costume. Well, at least I can appreciate the great effort he must have put into making it. You both don't know? You can buy this costume almost anywhere now. It's being sold? Since when? Since around New Year's. The streets are practically flooded with them. Turns out Damask is a lot more popular than I thought he'd be. Can't believe that foolish fool would dress in fool's clothing to act foolishly. I got your point about 3 foolish back, Francisca. The thing Edgeworth would pick up on that. While everybody else lets it go. So this is the murder weapon in this case. There's blood on the blade. It's a rather sweeping sword, isn't it? What did you expect? It's Steel Samurai Daddy's secondary weapon. I only call it his secondary because although he uses his sword in most of his battles, it's his trusty samurai spear that he turns to in a real fight. You sure know quite a bit about the Steel Samurai. That's only because I saw the stage show earlier. The owner of the sword is the Steel Samurai. Or in other words, Larry. I should probably ask him about it, as detrimental as it is to proving him innocent. Samurai sword jotted down in my organizer. What is this paper? I suppose this was the wrapping cloth Damask II used to carry his stolen goods. But there's nothing wrapped in it now. I guess he never did manage to get his hands on whatever it was he was out to steal. Larry, there are a few things I need to ask you about. Hey, how about that? I've got a few things I gotta ask you too. What is it? It's like both you and him. How is it that the two of you always manage to have some cute or hot girl by your side? And Francie, what about the promise you made to me? Promise? What promise? The one where you said you would model for my next book, Francie's Whippity Whip Trip. Yow! I made no such promise. Ever since grade school, we've had a certain saying about Larry. When something smells, it's usually the butts. One needs to look no further than this man to find the king of troublemakers. As I recall, aren't you calling yourself Loris Doxnum now? That's Doxnum! Larry Doxnum! Get that straight in your head, Edgy! Now I remember! You're that rude, pale imitation of a real artist. No, you got it all wrong. I gave up on that whole Loris business. Besides, when Benjolina left me and my heart in pieces, where is he coming up with these names? Who are these girls? Benjolina, Capcom, where are you coming up with these names? I have not heard a girl named Benjolina. That's when Mindy walked into my life. So now he's with Mindy. She's been so good to me that I wanted to help her in some way. And I figured I could through the Steel Samurai outfit. Urinating blathering makes less and less sense each time we meet. I believe he's saying that he picked up this part-time job as the Steel Samurai so that he may attempt to capture the heart of the actress who plays the Pink Princess. You got it! I knew you'd know what I meant, Edgy. Wait until they find out who the Pink Princess is. Not really. It's not so much as I understood, but a simple deduction based on your usual modus operandi, Larry. Larry, I'd like you to confess right now to everything you did tonight. Confess? Hey! Don't tell me you suspect me too! Nonsense. I don't believe you have the mental acuity needed to plan and execute a murder. However, we are talking about you here, so I find it hard to believe that nothing happened. Your past experience has taught me that you are always at the center of some insane event. Edgy! How can you be so mean, stabbing me with your words like that? Unfortunately, I don't have the time to search out a key to unlock your heart this time. So I suggest that you cooperate and tell me what you know. Okay, I get it. Just stop Francie from whipping me from behind. So, I guess you know what I did, right, Edgy? I can't even begin to imagine, however. Imagine that whatever you were up to was probably behind my imagination. So, you will tell me what exactly you did, Larry. Nope, not yet, Edgy. It'll take more than that to loosen my lips. A lot more! Confess now. Okay, well, I was up on the roof. Why exactly were you up there? You know, the wintry custom and the legendary hero? Legendary? Hero? Santa Claus! I don't remember Santa Claus being known as a legendary hero. How about you, Dai? Too much to consume in this case. Way too much to consume. Santa? Claus? I wanted to do that thing he does, so I climbed up to one of the chimneys. But when I got there, there was smoke pouring out of the chimney. And? Well, I couldn't go down the chimney with smoke coming up, right? I give up. Larry, you do realize that Santa Claus does not exist, right? Of course I know! I did graduate from junior high, you know! So he only went up to the 9th grade? What happened to the 10th, 11th, and 12th grade? Then you should also understand this. If Santa was real, he would be the biggest unlawful trespasser in history. He has a point, you know. Oh, crud! That's why in a lot of the Santa Claus movie, he was being arrested for trespassing. It is your attempt to imitate Santa that has landed you as a prime suspect in this murder. Come on, man! What's so wrong with pretending to be Santa? Objection! Let's start with the fact that it will be the Ides of March in a matter of hours. Santa only visits homes on December 24th. That's in December, you nitwit. No! Edgeworth! Hey, wait a sec! We're not in court here! You sprout that Shakespeare lyric again and I will slap you. Larry, about the samurai sword that was used as the murder weapon. Oh, that. Well, I shook hands with the ambassador in this room, you know. Yes, apparently you did. And well, I totally forgot about it and left it behind when I left afterwards. You want to talk about shock? I was the most shocked of all when I heard it killed someone. Ah, shocked! Foolish fool, looking especially foolish for foolishly stating such a foolish excuse. You forgot to take something that big with you? Who would believe such a tale? Sorry, Miss Von Karma, but I believe him. Because if anyone could forget something like that, it would be Larry. Hey, G, you believe me? Oh, for a different reason. I just knew that our friendship is something special. Anyways, even if Larry had simply forgotten the sword and left it behind, that in no way clears his name. Which means that I will have to prove his innocence from a different angle. Okay. So, I guess we have a small table to look at, which is right here. The person shaking hands with a steel samurai is, in this picture, is Ambassador Elbow. It was taken just before the murder. Steel samurai must be very popular. They're even using the national treasure as backdrop. I just don't understand what exactly is so great about top knots here. I find something suspicious about this picture. Do you see anything suspicious about this picture? Take a long look at this picture. If you can't figure it out, right now, you'll figure it out later. But there's something desperately wrong with this picture. Hey Red, welcome to the stream. It's going pretty good. We're on the last episode right now. This is part 2. Clearly there is a depth to this show that a young person like you can't fathom. Speaking of young people, Aren't young children the target audience of this show of costume actors? Photo with still samurai data jotted down in my organizer. Okay. There was the exact same statue sitting in the Balbali's office we examined. It's the Primakstuck statue. It was the national treasure of the Principality of Kudapia. There was only one of these statues, meaning that one of these two is a replica. But both Albest and Baba claims to have the real thing. What an incredibly childish fight to have. The Albest Primakstuck statue data jotted down in my organizer. I won't rest until I have inspected every suspicious looking nook and cranny. Okay. So, die. I think I've already given you the answer in this one. Is this the spot somehow connected to any of the evidence I hold? I think I gave you the answer for this one. That should be the last one. Of course, that's already what we're looking at, so that can't be used. That's most definitely not going to be used in this situation. Eureka! Look at this photo and tell me what you find odd about this scene, Miss Von Karma. The apparent joy on the ambassador's face is he shakes the top knot's hand. That's not it. I'm trying to point out that the statue in the photo is facing a different way. You're right. The statue is a national treasure. As such, only an ambassador or a secretariat level person is allowed to handle it. The fact that the statue is facing one way in this photo and now is facing a different direction in this preserved crime scene is proof that someone touched the statue around the time of the crime. Albest Primakstuck statue updated in my organizer. Okay. Examine window. There is a lot of stuff in this room that I have to examine. These gorgeous flowers are in a full bloom here. I'm sure flowers are lovely, as these must have an equally as lovely name. Miles Edgeworth, are you done staring? I should hardly think passion flowers are all that rare. Passion flowers? That's a rather unusual name. It was named by priests in the 15th century for the Passion of Christ. As they say, you learn something new every day. Passion flowers data jotted down in my organizer so that I may remember the name. The counterpart to the Babalis flower is the Albicine flower. The butterfly and the flower, they're both lovely things. But can we interpret this to mean that the Alba provides honey to Balba? Francisca, can't you come up with a more meaningful or profound comment? Very well then, let's hear what sort of profound comment you can come up with. While flowers cannot survive without the butterflies that spread their pollen, butterflies cannot live without the nectar the flowers provide. If either one were to disappear from the equation, neither would survive. How was that, Miss Von Karma? Your explanation took so long that I nearly fell asleep. Well, let's continue the investigation. Jessica, why can't you just admit I had something there? There is nothing new here. So... well, there is no pink princess now. For our investigation, actually examine orange paper. Where's orange paper? What orange paper are we looking at? Oh, okay, I see what we're looking at now. There was something I forgot. What is he holding? It looks like a piece of paper from a notepad. It would appear that directions on how to reach this room were written by hand. There is something written on the back as well. I'd like you to steal the prima dog statue in this room. What is that supposed to mean? Who writes a note to themselves like that? If I had to guess from the text, I would say that this is actually a request from someone about what to steal. Just who is the person that requested the thief of the prima dog statue? The Mascatu's note jotted down in my organizer. I guess that about wraps up my investigation. What's that? Yo, Pink Princess! How you feeling? Still feeling ill? And yet another strange character comes out of the woodwork. And so the Pink Princess also comes to pay the Albicine Embassy a visit. I believe I may need to speak with her as well. Die! Who's the Pink Princess? Who do you think is the Pink Princess? Take a guess. And no, it's not willpowers. Yeah, willpower. Miss Pink Princess, I have a few questions I'd like to ask you. Miss Pink Princess? Me! What's weird? This must be what they call fate! Oh, I don't know. If you're getting it off of my stream, I don't know. Because I can't control the ads that runs on there. When I hit that 1,000 mark, I can control the type of ads I can do. I know. When I do it, I'm going to block all the pop-up ads because I don't want anybody to click on them for fear of, you know, viruses. I'll have the video ads playing, but the pop-up ads that you see over on the chat where your recommendations are, and sometimes they'll pop up in the video itself. I don't want any of those to show up because they can lead into potential risks, and I don't even know why the government allows websites to allow those type of ads to be on the website, even though that they can provide a risk to your computer. How could this happen 2 days in a row? They're getting on Google for monopolizing the browser because they want to buy Firefox. Because Google already has all the rest of them. They have Yahoo, Bing, Safari, Microsoft Edge. They own all of them. They have a partnership with Firefox. So all your browsers are Chromium browsers. And they want to own Firefox. And the government says no. What the? Aren't you Miss Oldbag? Why are you so surprised? Ah, so you're the one that got to play the Steel Samurai. It's too bad I didn't realize that until now. You're acquaintance with Larry? Why, yes, we work at the same company for a little while, you know? That's why it's okay, my Edgy Poo. You don't need to be jealous. I was in the next room, you know, trying to get in some beauty sleep. But it was so nasty here that I couldn't fall asleep, so I came over to complain. So imagine my shock when I saw my precious Edgy Poo waiting here for me. I mean, who could imagine that you would ever come to a show like this? Guess I misjudged you, Edgy Poo. You misjudged him? I thought he was trying to avoid me, you know? That was no misjudgment on your part. That's precisely what I was trying to do. But it looks like the winds have shifted and he's not willing to be chased after. I'm simply overwhelmed. Don't you worry, Edgy Poo. I'll chase you forever to the ends of the earth. I have a feeling if Wendy Oldbag is still alive by the time Miles Edgeworth turns 90, that is when Miles Edgeworth is going to marry Wendy Oldbag. Because if he turns 90 and she's still alive, he don't care who he marries by then. Isn't that just peachy? This is one of those rare times when Franziska and I actually see eye to eye. Now then, what are you doing here? I thought you were working at the Gatewater Land as the Pink Badger. What are you talking about? That was ages ago. I go from one pink character to another. Such a disgrace. You see pink on me? I got red roses in my hair. Nothing pink about it. That was yesterday! Look, I worked at Global Studios before, a long time ago, right? Well, they called me up this morning, kind of out of the blue, actually. They called you? Apparently, the girl who plays the Pink Princess collapsed from a bad cold. Happened so suddenly, so they called me in to be her last-minute replacement. Do they not have enough people on staff at the studio? I really couldn't say no, so here I am, playing the role of the heroine. With, K-cups. These things are massive. Instead of that Mindy girl, I mean. But that poor girl, I feel bad for her because they let me stand in for her. I am not reading it that fast. I don't read that fast. You're a rather lively old lady. So basically you received a stand-in request this morning, correct? You got it. If you need to see it, I've got it right here, look. It appears that she is telling the truth. Stand-in request data jotted down in my organizer. I tell you, my fine acting moved the entire audience to tears. Yes, tears of laughter, as I recall. But being famous has its problems too, you know. Here, take a look at this. It's a letter from a stalker! I was just taking my break when I found this snuck under the door to my room. Honestly, you really have to watch out for these kinds of things. Look at what it says. Wendy, I'll be descending on you from above tonight. Your loving Knight. Was it sent to Wendy? Was it really sent to Wendy? How absurdly revolting. I mean, you'd think he could get my name right. There's no accent in my name, which means it wasn't sent to Wendy. Wait, this horrible handwriting. Where have I seen this before? But now that you're here, Edgy Poo, I feel 100% safe. Eh? Where do I factor into this? You'd bust that evil stalker, man. For my sake, wouldn't you, Edgy Poo? Well, if you allow me the liberty to handle this in my own way, I'll gladly dispatch the detective to your house later. Oh, come on, Edgy Poo, stop being so dismissive and play hard to get. Letter from a stalker, data jotted down in my organizer. What were you doing at the time of the crime? What crime? What? After the show was over, I had nothing but free time on my hands. So I used the fireplace in the room next door to keep my bad hip warm. Well, a murder occurred in this room right next to yours. Is that right? Oh, is he, Boo? I'm so scared. Hold me, caress me. What? TMI, TMI, TMI.
Hold it.
If you could please not cling to my personage. And I am not clinging to you. I am not caressing you. In any case, I take it then that you failed to show up at Ambassador Alba's speech? Oh, that? No, I didn't go. I mean, I may have the heart of a young, tender maiden, but my body just refuses to cooperate at times. As soon as the show ended, my head started aching up and got stiff. I couldn't move at all. Can you provide proof of your condition? Oh, you just go on ahead and ask the doctors in the infirmary. They're the ones who carried me from the theater all the way to this embassy. Not to admit, the thought of her not being able to leave the room is rather pleasant. Prosecutor Von Karma, I brought this police dog as you requested, sir. Good work. You may leave now, officer. Di, the dog's name is Missile. What do you think? This dog. I requested the assistance of a dog in our search for the Yatagarasu. Looks like you guys have some pretty bright dogs in this country, too. Hey, you're a real cutie, aren't you? Yeah, that's a good boy. That's the police dog Gumshoe's been taking care of. I think his name is Missile. What a fitting name for a police dog that dashes out in front and attacks. That action alone isn't exactly what's going to solve the case for us, you know. Now, Missile, I want you to find some clues. Go. Good dog. You really are quite bright, aren't you? Unlike a certain someone I know. Now, what do we have here? What is this? Looks like a small hot dog, but... Wait, Franziska. Isn't that an official samurai dog? The dog's hungry. Ah, no! Bad Missile! He ate it! I wonder if it's alright for him to eat that. It's just a meat substitute snack featuring the Steel Samurai. I'm sure he'll be fine. The worst he could probably have is diarrhea. That's quite a bit of information you gathered there in a single, quite quick glance. We should really be focusing on why there was a samurai dog there in the first place. It looks like that snack wasn't all Missile found. Oh, and what do we have here? Appears to be a lady's undershirt. I wonder if Ambassador Alba might have an interest in cross-dressing. I somehow doubt that. It doesn't look like the shirt would even fit him. A samurai dog and a lady's undershirt. What are these two items doing in a room like this? Given the circumstances, the lady's undershirt could only belong to one person. I suppose I should get this over with and ask the owner of said undershirt about it. Lady's undershirt data jotted down in my organizer. If you could please take a look at this brown colored undershirt. Oh, Edgy Poo, what is the meaning of this? Why did you steal that thing from my bags? All you had to do was ask, and I would have gladly given you as many as you like. Thanks, but no thanks. This shirt was found here at this crime scene. What? Come now. Why don't you just confess and explain what it's doing here? I know nothing. Nothing, I tell you. What? Oh, I admit that I used the fireplace to dry the shirt. But I can't really help the fact that I had to, you know? Wearing this pink princess costume was like being in a sauna. And on top of that, I get fingered as a suspect. You're too cruel, Edgy Poo. Are you claiming that you never once set foot inside this room? Of course I am. If I had been the one to find the body, do you think I'd be as calm and relaxed as I am? I tell you, it's always like this. But I can't help it. Will you marry me? Honest men these days. Well, I don't believe she is lying about her actions. So I can safely assume she really was drying her shirt by the fireplace on her back. Somehow the undershirt managed to move from the next room into this one. I assume the samurai dog was also yours. Ah, that brilliant mind of yours. You really can see through everything about me. So the feeling of dread continues. But I suppose I should ask for more details. That samurai dog was yours, wasn't it? Oh, of course! I'm forever yours, my edgy widgy poo. If you would just stick to what I asked you. Edgy, are you Miss Old Egg? No! You really don't change, do you? When will you learn how to take a joke? Anyways, that samurai dog wasn't mine. Those things are present from the studio to the embassy. Present? Studio bigwigs actually told us to play delivery boys. We were supposed to hand the dogs off to the embassy people and tell them hi. I had to pile them all into the push cart just to move them all. The studio guys should have delivered those things by themselves, right, Iggy? So, did you deliver the samurai dogs to the embassy staff as per your instructions? Hey, Edgy, don't just ignore me and my question. Aren't you going to stick up for me? About that. See, after the show, I went to rest the spell in the dressing room because of my bad hip, you know. And there they were. The samurai dogs were just sitting on the dressing room floor. I suppose you had to make preparations for disturbing them after the show. Well, if my preparations you mean sampling them as well? Excuse me? Oh, I tried one though, and thought they were actually quite good. Sorry, but I just had to find out. I know it was silly of me to think this, but I figured that since they're for a kid show, their taste was probably for kids too. But they were so good that I couldn't stop. Before I went back to my room, I just had to help myself to half a dozen or so boxes. As I sat there by the roaring fire, warming them and eating them, I thought, this is... What is it now? Oh, I know. I bet you wanted a box too. Don't you, my edgy poo? Well, who am I to say no to you? But I'll only give you one. The rest are all up for me. Samurai dogs forced onto me. looks like the lesson for today is that when the Steel Samurai and the Pink Princess take off their masks, they transform into a pair of annoying troublemakers. All right. Before we do that, we borrowed the dog from the local precinct, but is he really capable of handling this case? I thought police dogs are usually of a much larger breed. He may be small, but he is an excellent police dog. Furthermore, he was raised by Detective Gumshoe. You had me thinking the dog was capable until you said that he was raised by Scruffy. Yes, well, I suppose that wasn't the best of an argument to use. Alrighty then. So, right now we only have... Okay. There is no trace of this room's fireplace being used. And your point is? Smoke was supposedly pouring out of the chimney connected to this fireplace. At least, according to Larry. This is a contradiction of facts, is it not? Are you sure he wasn't just disorientated or something up on the roof? There is testimony from an investigator that puts Larry at this particular chimney. So, no, I don't think it was a mistaken impression on Larry's part. On the other hand, the fireplace in the next room was being used at the time. Where do you suppose the smoke from the fireplace went? Ah, I see. So, what you are proposing is this. The smoke that came out of the chimney was actually from Miss Holdback's fire. So basically, the fireplaces of the neighboring rooms share one chimney. Is that what you are implying? Precisely. And, well... we don't have any more. The lady's undershirt that Missile found. Oh, what are you getting all excited over holding on to a lady's undergarment? Miles Edgeworth, you a calm seep slug. If you know the owner of said undershirt, then hurry up and return it to her already. You have it all wrong. This is evidence. And the owner of this piece of evidence was in the room next door. And yet, despite that, Missile found it in the fireplace of this room. This lady's undershirt. Are you seriously claiming that it was somehow passed through a solid brick wall? Not quite. The fireplace in this room is connected to a chimney. The other fireplace in the other room is also connected to the same chimney, leading us to the possibility that the two fireplaces are connected to each other. Perhaps a closer look at the back of the fireplace is in order. There's an X on the back wall of the fireplace. Let's see if I can get a better look at it. What in the... The wall separates this room's fireplace from the next room's fireplace. Apparently turns. As I suspected, this fireplace does indeed connect this room to the neighboring room. The neighboring room? There apparently to be nothing particular about the next room. But the fact that there is nothing special about the next room isn't what's important. It's the fact that there is a secret passage through this room's fireplace. We now know that this fireplace connects the two rooms. But how exactly is that significant? You aren't going to suddenly name the old lady as Damask 2's killer now, are you? No, she couldn't move at all because of her stiff hip. So she could not have been the one. Unfortunately, I believe that this fireplace has nothing whatsoever to do with Damask 2's murder. It would appear that the answer has made itself known. You're making quite a confident face there, Mr. Prosecutor. Bring it on. I'm ready to counter any argument you may have. Very well then, if you are prepared. I'll show you exactly where my deductions have led me. Good, I'm counting on you, Edgy. Leave it to me, Larry. My first attack will be to expose your lies for what it really is. My lie! I know that there is still something you are keeping from the rest of us. What's wrong with you? Why is it you won't believe me no matter what I say, Edgy? Curse you, I should just hurry up and die already if that's how it's going to be. I'll confess to every murder in the whole world and then kill myself. And throw everything into mass confusion. You made some wonderful friends as a child, I see. Larry, I only have one thing to say to you. Even if you make that face at me, it's no use. A man who's ready to die is strong-willed, you know. Larry, it doesn't matter what sort of harebrained trouble you've caused. I only ask that you do not lie to me. You caused an innocent person to be judged unfairly because of some insipid lie? I will never forgive you. Gee. Although, allow me to say that I consider you to be among the innocent in this case, and that I will draw the real killer out. You can trust me on this. All right, this time I'll tell you the whole truth, okay? What happened? What didn't happen? The works. Just what happened will do. Now then, if you would please testify as to what you did up on the roof tonight. Up on the rooftop, click, click, click. After the show, I left the pushcart in the rose garden and came into the embassy. Then they took a picture of me shaking hands with the ambassador. After that, until my next appearance, I made some free time, so I wandered around. That's when I spotted the chimney. A chimney like that is a rare thing, you know. So then I wanted to play Santa and decided to give it a try. Larry, I thought I just finished telling you to not lie anymore. But it's kinda ultra embarrassing. What exactly is so ultra embarrassing that you can't tell me? Edgy, man, I just said it was embarrassing, so of course I can't just blurt it out. So you're just gonna have to reason it out of me. As your superior, I command you to hurry up and expose this man's lie. I have every intention to, for I'm not about to let us waste time on such a trifling matter. Up and out, up, click, click, click. You left the pushcart? Could you please clarify that statement for me? Die, this is a tree back here. Does it look weird? Looks like the ambassador, doesn't it? Yeah, so the wheels on the pushcart got covered in dirt from the rose garden. It would have made a mess of the floor inside, so Ambassador Alba said to just leave it. Well, it would be rather impolite to dirty another country's embassy. Come to think of it, I recall seeing the pink princess on my way into the embassy. And what was she doing? Nothing in particular, because she was being carried by some doctors on a stretcher. She must have been incapacitated by the pain of her bad hip that she suffered during the show. So I came into the embassy, right? And then so you shook hands with the ambassador of the Kingdom of Albest, did you? Yeah, can you believe it? I did something really cool for a change. But honestly speaking, there's nothing interesting about shaking some guy's hand. Hey there! Are you disrespecting another country in their very own embassy? As someone with roots in this country, I'm feeling nothing but incredible shame at this second. Agreed. I apologize for his inconsiderate words. Now, Larry, please continue. What is with all of you? You keep saying that kind of thing, and I'll tell you, you only lies. You're already telling us nothing but lies, so let it go and move on. Oh, right already. You don't need to glare at me like that, Edgy. Larry, I want you to listen very carefully and take this to heart. The whole point of your life is to cause misery and pain to everyone you encounter. I know! I get it! I'm totally the bad guy again! I thought you were his friend. Don't you think that was a bit harsh? Lang Z says, true friends are bosom friends. If you are in trouble, call on your bosom friend whose shoulder you can truly cry on. Hey, bosom buddy! I hope you're listening carefully to my testimony. Has it crushed your pea-sized brain yet that Agent Lang is only out to arrest you, Larry? Now then, you were wandering around inside the embassy, and then what happened? I should hardly think that chimneys are that rare. Agreed, especially since they are a traditional feature of American homes. Plus, many grand buildings have even larger and fancier chimneys. Yeah, but the kind of chimney I'm talking about is the really romantic type. A romantic chimney? So there's chimneys that kisses each other and says, I love you? It might sound kind of silly, but women seem to really enjoy them. And I just had a good feeling about that chimney. So women go around kissing and saying, I love you to chimneys? You suddenly wanted to play Santa? Oh, well, actually, I dressed up as Santa once before already. He did. You remember that guy in the first game? He's out there on Lake Gord. Selling samurai dogs? That was done at Gord Lake. Gunk! I appreciate it if you wouldn't dredge upon unnecessary memories for me. Sounds like you guys shared a lot of history. A perk to being childhood friends, huh? Besides, it's not a felon to dress up and play Santa, you know. Santa doesn't go around killing people after he comes down a family chimney, after all. Actually, it is worth divulging into whether or not playing Santa's a big deal. Actually, I believe in the case of this man playing Santa, it's actually quite a big deal. Are you saying that your buddy isn't exactly made of Santa quality stuff? Precisely. You hit the nail on the head, Agent Lang. Hey, Edgy! That's so incredibly mean! So I'm not a big fat guy! Tell me something, Larry. Did you know that Santa's job is to deliver presents to people over the world? Of course I know that! I did graduate from junior high, you know! In that case, it's your turn to tell me something. I want you to tell me to whom you were delivering a present to. I was, delivering a present to a child not basking in the glow of love. That must be the most elegant description of you I've ever heard. But a lie is still a lie. You sure know how to kick a guy when he's down, you know that? In any case, the person you wish to deliver a present unto was most definitely this person. Di, you know the answer to this one. Ha! Interesting taste you have there, Mr. Suspect. There's no spread lies about me! I told you I didn't want to see Miss Olbeck so much that I'd try to go down a chimney. Yow! I advise you to stop right there and your bashing of a lady. Well, I must admit that I myself hardly ever have the want to run into that lady. However, what if you were misinformed and under the wrong impression? Then what? Define wrong impression. I simply mean that the man before you thought to enter the old lady's room without knowing one very important fact. And the fact is best summed up with this. We already know this one. No, it's not going to be the autograph. Actually, it's going to be on this page. Well, it's not going to be the letter, it's going to be this one. We'll get to the letter later, but it's going to be this one, because You'll find out why. This is something the old lady received from her employer from that night. The girl who normally plays the Pink Princess, Mindy, was it again? It seems that this man is quite taken with that actress. But that's not true, Edgy. She's the one with the hots for me. I just know it. I can feel her sexy beam piercing my heart when she's watching me. That sounds like he has the hots for her, doesn't it, Di? Because you don't hear her saying that. Well, she's not saying that right now because she's like homesick trying to recover from an illness. Sexy beam, I tell you! You filthy, despicable, inconsiderate, fickle, idiotic, cowardly apparition of a man. You haven't matured at all since we last met. Hey, Mr. Prosecutor. Yes? This guy. He's got bigger problems than just getting involved in murders, I take it. I suppose you could put it that way. Hey, what the heck, man? I don't get you guys at all. Why do you all have to make me out to be some sort of bad guy? To return to the original topic, I propose that at least this much has been made clear. Without any knowledge that Miss Mindy had fallen ill, Larry tried to make his way into the Pink Princess's room. That much we know for sure. Hey, Edgy, looks like I've got the hang of this court thing now, but we're not in court at the moment. Shut up! I see what's going on here, and it looks just like what you do in court. I guess old boys here still has something he'd like to say. Lang Z says, until the roots of the tongue dries, one never knows the whole truth. You shouldn't form conclusion until everything is out in the open, which is why I'll listen. But yet you will falsely accuse people, so you just broke Lang Z's saying. God dang! He contradicted himself! Alright then, get ready to listen to me defeat Edgy in a battle of wits. Larry, have you forgotten that should I lose, your victory prize will be your arrest? Larry's assertion. So you think that all I wanted to do was to go visit Mindy? Well, I dressed up as Santa and climbed up to the chimney, but the smoke was really thick. It was a case of mistaken identity, and that mistake made me late for the speech. Then to top it all off, I became a suspect in a murder. That's what you really meant? But why would I ever put myself through so much humiliation on purpose? Hey, someone say something! Larry, are you seriously trying to submit this? Not as a confession, but as a testimony? So what am I? Is there something wrong with that? My claim is a claim claiming my claim. Do you have a problem with that? So it's you! You're my stalker! But I should warn you, it doesn't matter what kind of a flattery you throw at me. I'm the devoted type of a woman. Oh, I'm so inspired! You're such an inconsiderate, cowardly, idiotic, and all-around completely worthless man. I thought I heard something ominous just now, but perhaps it was just my imagination. I believe there's nothing further for me to prove at this point. What do you mean? Of course you still got something to prove. You still have to show some proof that I was trying to meet up with Mindy. proof, you say? Remember, Iggy? Everything is evidence in court, right? You mean evidence is everything in court, Larry, but I understand your point. Yeah, see, I'm totally a pro at this now. Very well, if you wish to see the evidence, then let me show you the last piece of evidence you'll ever wish to see.
Hold it!
Well, I have been saying that for a while now. After all, if not for that, then for what other reason did you wish to go down to that chimney? Help me out, Di. Maybe you know the answer to this question. You can't say that without any evidence. That's against the rules, Angie, and don't put Di in this mix-up. I love you, Di. Ha! Thanks for keeping the prosecutor alive for me, Mr. Suspect. Who has died? Unless you mean somebody's dying, I don't know.
Hold
it! I have the evidence, and if you wish to see it that badly, I can introduce you to. Oh, and Di, wave to Lang. Ah, but it's not good to keep them waiting, my subordinate. Hurry up and show them already. Lies! All lies, Angie! I see you there, Di. Well, if you wish to lie, then by all means continue. Because I'm ready to expose your lie at any moment's notice. You won't get the better of me. Now let's see.
Hold it!
Was the smoke coming from the chimney really that thick? You bet! It was so thick, you swear I spilled Pogger's powder down the chimney. I had tears pouring out of my eyes. It was a mess. Can we stop with the plugins already? I agree. We need to stop with the plugins. I see. You do realize that you've just confirmed for us your chimney's escapade. Why the hell would you waste a whole freaking bottle of Pogger's powder down the chimney anyways? What? That's totally unfair! You tricked me, AG! Hardly. You simply had yet to master how to counter this cross-examination technique. Well, what I just said was a slip of the... No, I mean, I said the wrong thing. Besides, isn't that what you really want me to say about what I did tonight? I'm not quite sure how you can mistake that actress for this lady. Ooh, Edgy Poo, are you staring at me? Ah, are you finally succumbing to my feminine charms? I should think that the Seal Samurai is the one who should know all about your charms. What? Me? Edgy? What are you trying to do to me? Nothing. Simply that the Seal Samurai and the Pink Princess are husband and wife. Why else would they have a child? Oh, is my poor little edgy poo jealous? Ah! If you could please drop that line of discussion right this instant. But Edgy, I told you! I already have Mindy! I'm getting divorced! Speaking of Mindy, exactly what kind of woman would you say she is? Edgy, are you seriously telling me you don't know who the Mindy is? She's just like what her name means. She's super sweet with a great smile. I don't mean to brag, but she's one of the troupe's fastest rising stars. Interesting. Ha! So you're saying a woman like that is what made you late to the speech? Hey, where's my poggers? I need a drink. It's a little dry in here. Great, you too! Why is everyone out to make me as a suspect of me? I thought we were dropping the plugins! Look, all I can say is this. I was late to the speech. I suppose you might be correct in a small way. What do you mean by that? Besides being a suspect in a murder, there are a few other things you are a suspect of. Not you too, Francie. You tried to stalk me, but I won't let you intimidate me like that. Look, I already told you, Miss Oldbag, I wasn't after you. I was trying to see Mindy. Hey, Mr. Prosecutor, can I just arrest this guy already? I completely understand how you feel, Agent Lang. Wait, please listen to what I have to say! If you have a serious assertion to make, then I'd consider listening. However, no problem. I'm going to put all I've got into this, so listen good, okay? Larry, this is the final point you wish to make. You got it. I've called on all the energy I have and told it to you with all my soul. In that case, allow me to take that soul and break it. Huh? Yes, we'll stamp it under our feet until it's been ground to a fine powder. Oh, a fine powder? What flavor? Mango? Enough with the Poggers plug-in! Eek! If you really put all your soul into that, then you're ready. You're ready for what's coming, right? In place of the Honorable Larry, I offer my soul to you. Larry, come out from behind there and face this like a man. You're scary, my liege. This whole testimony is one giant confession of all that he's done tonight. He's practically begging me to show me why he bothered to put himself through all of this. Alright, you know what statement? Okay, this is our last statement. All right, so it's going to be this statement, yes. Which, if you think about it, you'll understand why. Okay. You want me to go through them, okay. Okay, that's all of them.
Objection!
Okay, you could have done it on the first statement and the fifth statement. Larry, don't you even think about denying that you have knowledge of this letter. Hey! Why are you showing me this thing to me? Wendy, I'll be ascending on you from above tonight. Your loving knight. Well, isn't that just romantic? But you weren't able to descend on her from above, were you, Mr. Loving Knight? I have no idea what you're talking about. I don't remember a thing. You can pretend to be ignorant all you like, but it's written right here. The letter proves that you were not out to meet the old lady, but rather that you were attempting to pay Miss Mindy a visit. What part of this letter shows that the person Larry had intended to meet was Mindy? It's pretty easy to figure this one out, Di. Well, specifically this part of the name right here.
Take that!
Larry, I suggest you take up penmanship lessons. That is, if you never wish to experience this level of embarrassment ever again. What the heck? What are you talking about? Speak English! You wrote Mindy so sloppy that it became Wendy to the average eye. Hey, stop picking on me! It's so embarrassing! There, isn't that what childhood friends are for? They're the best, aren't they? For punching. But that will have to wait until we're off of this crime scene. Hey, Edgy, save me from this scary man! Sure, if you're willing to make amends, starting with your incredibly embarrassing mistake. That wasn't me. Come again? It's a fake. Someone's out to get me. So they made the fake letter. To send me help! Accept your defeat gracefully. But you guys are being so mean.
Hold it!
Penmanship analysis. What's that? No matter who, all people have certain unique features to their handwriting. Ergo, all we have to do is compare the handwriting in this letter to a sample of yours. We'll know soon enough who it was that sent this letter. I'll never write another thing in my life.
Hold it!
Just. It's no use, Mr. Loving Knight. For you've already gracefully provided me with a sample of your handwriting. You know this one, don't you, Di? Very easy to figure out. This autograph and our mysterious letter. If we compare the handwritings, we'll know the answer to our question soon enough. Confess now, Larry. You're a miserable failure. I'm sorry! I did it! It was me causing trouble again! I admit it! You hit the nail right on the head, AG! So, he finally confessed. I saw the pink princess being carried around in a stretcher and got worried, alright? I wanted to go into Mindy's room, but the doctors wouldn't let me in. So what choice did I have? It was the chimney or bust, Edgy. Your mind jumped from the door to the chimney? What a criminally overactive imagination! Well, at least I was honest and wrote Mindy a letter and snuck it under the door. That way, she wouldn't be so shocked when I came down through the chimney. Except for the fact that the letter was an utterly failure at conveying said settlement. I'm really, really sorry! Larry, you may have a shameful, good-for-nothing blight on the face of humanity. However, I always knew you weren't the killer. I told you to trust me. Besides, at the very least, I can attest to that about you. Edgy, you're... Ack! We've lost a lot of valuable time because of you. Ow! In any case, I believe we can say that we now know exactly what happened. Mr. Larry Butts thought to climb down the chimney, not for access to the crime scene, but to enter the room of the elderly lady next door. Great job, Mr. Prosecutor, although I still find it a bit unbelievable that the two of you are friends. But the suspicion on the guy over there isn't completely resolved yet, so don't get any funny ideas about running off, okay? Ow! Hey, what? Edgy, what does this wolf man mean when he says I'm not off the hook yet? He means the murder weapon. Larry, did you forget? There are 2 layers of suspicion hanging over your head. That's exactly what I mean. We can't only rely on the words of the suspect, after all. We may have figured out where he was and what he was doing all night, but the blood-stained samurai sword that was left at the crime scene, as long as there is no satisfactory explanation for that, this wolf will refuse to ease up on his bite. Eek! Edgy, that guy, he looks like he's seriously about to take a bite out of me. I'm well aware, and you should be as well, that this upcoming battle will be crucial. Thanks to the cooperation of our lovely Bumbler, I've been dealt a very nice hand and a sweet trump card. Looks like we're about to enter the final bout. Now, Mr. Prosecutor, let's see what you've got. I can easily point out the contradiction in the supposed murder weapon. But the real problem for me is figuring out what the real murder weapon is. This will be a high-stakes gamble, but this is one game I cannot afford to lose. Why, Larry? I was the one who found the body of the victim Damascus too. Besides, him was the samurai sword, glittering red and offering up the scent of blood. It was supposed to be in the Steel Samurai's dressing room, but I found it here instead. Plus, I found the murder weapon's owner, the suspect, Larry Butts, in here too. Isn't it a bit far-fetched to accuse someone simply on the basis of ownership? But this owner wanted to sneak onto the crime scene. I think that's plenty to go on, don't you? If you're alluding to his reason for being by the chimney, we've already established that. Hold on there, Mr. Prosecutor. You two are longtime friends, right? Who's to say you didn't fabricate the evidence to give him an alibi? You're accusing me of fabricating evidence? You think I can believe anything you produce? Forging evidence is all you prosecutors do. This man has some serious issues with prosecutors. But come on! I can't think of something as complicated as that, right, Edgy? Larry, I can agree because I know you and your personality well. However, Agent Lang knows nothing about you. Or me, for that matter. I sense his hatred for my entire profession emanates from his entire being. Meaning that the only way I can prove Larry's innocent is to present irrefutable evidence. So, you were the first to discover the body this time? This time? What's that supposed to mean? You'd better watch what you say. I only said this time because earlier, Kay was the first one to discover the body in Babal. And your secretary, Agent Shina, was ready to accuse her of murder for that. Ha! So are you going to use that excuse to call me suspicious now? Why not? Why not? She not did the same thing. Of course not. I was simply putting out that usual pattern with discoveries of the bodies. But in the Babalese case, there was proof that she was holding the weapon, right? Well, in this one, it's a bit different since we know exactly where the weapon is. How do we know that Lang wasn't holding the weapon? Excuse me, but glistening red and offering up the scent of blood? Do I have to spell it out for you? I mean the sight and smell of blood, of course. According to the test, the blood on the sword belongs to the victim. The sword was made to only be used on stage, so it's not sharp. But it's pretty weighty. It's certainly heavy enough to beat someone to death with. Which leads me to suspect the victim was beaten to death with the sword. Beaten to death, huh? This last statement is too important to just let it slip by. Besides him was the samurai sword covered in the victim's blood. So the sword is covered in the victim's blood. Yeah, the lab test confirmed that the blood on the sword matches the victim. But the sword is as dull as a vanilla envelope. It's just a stage prop after all. The Steel Samurai is all about safety first, so you can't use it like a real sword. The Steel Samurai has spoken. The Pink Princess also appears to have something she'd like to petition to you personally. What? The Pink Princess would like to say can wait for the day after eternity. Anyway, my point is that even though the sword is too dull to slice with, it's certainly heavy enough to bludgeon someone to death with. Therefore, I suspect he beat the victim to death with that thing. About the samurai sword, have you received a report from forensic yet? They confirmed that the blood on the sword belonged to the victim. Alright, but have they confirmed that the outline of his wound is consistent with the weapon? Tell me something. Do you see the dead body right there in front of you? So, if they were conducting the autopsy right now, shouldn't that body not be here? Well, I suppose so. I guess they must have still be investigating this room. Meaning that it's possible he doesn't know about that piece of evidence true nature. Everything else you'd like to chit-chat about now? No? Good. Now let's continue. Larry has already testified that he forgot the samurai sword here. Yeah, I was shaking hands with the ambassador in here, and I left it behind by accident. So what? You lied earlier. So who's to say that this excuse isn't just another lie? But I forget stuff all the time, right, Edgy? Tell him. Why don't you tell him yourself? You see? What did I tell you earlier? No one will buy such a pathetically weak excuse. Yes, well, I know that it's not possible to prove such an excuse as truth. And yet you offer it up as fact. You're a worse person than I originally thought. You're free to think what you'd like. However, I know that Larry is not the killer. Agent Lang, please continue with your argument. I'll expose the flaw in it soon enough. Just because he is the owner of the weapon, therefore he must be the killer, is he? No, climbing all the way up to the chimney is plenty suspicious in my book as well. Regarding that, I have already drawn the truth out, and the truth is one that I don't bend. It doesn't matter if it's you or whoever. You prosecutors are all the same. And as for me, prosecutors are the one that I don't trust in. An agent who doesn't trust prosecutors? What are you playing at? Sorry, sis, but there are only two things I trust. My subordinates and evidence of this crime scene. Agent Lang hates prosecutors. For as long as he trusts evidence that has been left at a crime scene, then there is something I can show him that he can believe in. It's simply not possible that the samurai sword is the real murder weapon. So I should focus on proving that point to Agent Lang first. Alright, we ended up getting two new statements. You know which statement it is? Okay. So which piece of evidence are we going to present this on? No, we're not going to use the knife. Because this knife has Manny Cochin's blood onto it, not the victim. I will give you a hint. It's going to be on this page. Nope, it's not going to be the body because Manny Cochin's in a different location. It's not going to be the sword. It's actually going to be the spear.
Objection!
And there's a reason why. Do you know what this is, Agent Lang? Ha. It's a long spear, right? We used to use those a lot in my country a long time ago. Piercing. Mowing people down. Spears are the weapon of heroes throughout history. It's the next most effective weapon after the whip. I think the whip is a slightly different category. So what's your point? Are you going to tell me that the spear is the real weapon? No. I simply want you to take a look at this section here. The way it's bent? Precisely. Apparently, a certain troublemaker hit it against a wall in this embassy earlier. And as you can clearly see, the insides of the Steel Samurai's weapons are hollow. In other words, they're replicas that aren't strong enough to deliver a damaging blow, let alone the multiple strikes necessary to bludgeon someone to death. And yet, there is not even a dent in the samurai's sword. How do you explain that? Ah, yeah! Oh yeah, the sword and the spear are made of the same stuff, so they bend easily. But I wish they'd make them out of better stuff because the spear got bent. Wasn't able to do my special earlier summer rain jab move. Man, I got such an earful from the director of the play for doing it in the show. The Steel Samurai special move was changed tonight because of him? Samurai Spear dead updated in my organizer. Huge! That's more than enough of your whining whimpering. Now, back on the topic of the spear. Yes, let's return to the real topic of discussion. This is where the real gamble begins, and I don't have a real strategy per se. So all I can do for now is let the chips fall from where they may. Using guesswork and taking risks is in place of real logic is hardly the Von Karma way. It's neither smart nor very clever. It's Von Karma. As you know, unlike your father, I am not a genius prosecutor. Plus, I doubt his record of a 40-year win streak will ever be broken. But it has been broken! Do they not remember the DL6 retrial? Do they not remember the retrial? In the first game, he was beaten! And he was sent to jail! I can't believe they've forgotten that! But perhaps it is for the best if it remains unbroken. But it's broken! He lost! His 41st case, he lost it! Or for his 40 years. His 40 year unbeaten record. So he lost his case. For no one should have conceived of the notion the convict all defendants in the first place.
Objection!
Convict. What a foolish statement for a foolish fool who hates to lose. It's the job of a prosecutor to make sure that all defendants are found guilty in court. There's nothing more important in this world than a perfect victory. That may be your opinion, however, I don't believe that's all we are. As a prosecutor, what I pursue is not the perfect victory, but the perfect truth. And if that means that the bridge I must cross will crumble beneath my feet, then let it crumble as I walk on towards the truth. You're good at keeping me entertained, Mr. Prosecutor. But you know, humans are delicate creatures. The slightest bump and we expire. I'd like you to consider, if you will, the possibility that the sword was used in such a way that the attack killed Damascus II without bending it. So, what do you think of my hypothesis scenario? I think you know what to do here, right? And what you need. Of course, what I need is evidence even Agent Lang can't refute. This is it. It's time to bring this to a close. Why Larry Part 2? It's possible to use the samurai sword to kill someone. And under these circumstances, it's the only logical conclusion. We searched the embassy top to bottom, but the victim's blood is only on this weapon. So isn't it only natural that the suspicion would fall onto the owner of said weapon? How long do you intend to cling onto the preposterous theory? As long as I want, because we examined every corner within the walls of this embassy. There's no stone we've left unturned. And we have managed to come up with only one logical conclusion. That the only place inside this embassy with the victim's blood on it is this sword.
Hold it!
You left no stone unturned? Is that a fact?
Not so fast!
If you've got something to say, then say it in the only way I suspect, Mr. Prosecutor. Yes, of course. In that case, allow me to make it all crystal clear for you.
Hold it!
May I inquire as to how are you able to make such a claim, Agent Lang? Lang Z says, capable of miracles beyond comprehension and mysterious creatures as man. Rather than man, it's Agent Lang's quotes that are getting incredibly incomprehensible. The human body is a mysterious thing, even with a toy-like sword. It's easy to kill a man if you hit just the right spot, which is why I think it's possible to kill with this thing without leaving a dent.
Hold it!
But we can only be sure one way or the other by seeing if the wound matches the sword. I know that, but as long as it's a possibility, I can proclaim it as much as I'd like. I already know that the sword is not the murder weapon. I bet you know too, Dai, right? But you must know that your conclusion is wrong. Given the circumstances I'm in, the only people I can trust are my subordinates. Because they're a much more trustworthy bunch than you prosecutors will ever be. And you call yourself a professional? You still don't see, do you, Mr. Prosecutor? You have to earn my trust. The only way to do that is to show me proof of another possible murder weapon. Another possible weapon. In this room, there's only one other thing left. This is going to be a gamble, but I can't withdraw from the game now. You're not going to get me to trust you by the power of your glare alone, you know. Plus, I have other reasons as to why I think the samurai sword is the murder weapon. The only place where you could find blood was on the samurai sword. That's right, even with luminol. Which means that there are no other possibilities outside of what I've already outlined. Do I have a problem with Agent Lang's assertion that the samurai sword is the weapon? If you believe that there is no other door or possibility left to open, then allow me to force one open for you. And how do you plan to do that? By showing you what may possibly be the real murder weapon. Ha 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 ha! The real murder weapon? I hate to repeat myself, but my men have already searched every last inch of this embassy, and they've concluded that nothing else could have been used as a weapon. Knowing these facts, do you still want to press forward with your little hypothesis? Of course, because it's not possible that your men inspected everything in their investigation. What are you talking about? I don't appreciate mind games, and I don't appreciate it when you people like your slander my men. I'm not slandering them, I assure you. I'm merely pointing out that their investigation, Dagnet, has a few holes in it. Namely, that there is something your men couldn't even lay a finger on. And that item is the real murder weapon. Alright then! Let's play along for now. This real murder weapon that killed the masked tube. What exactly is it? The real murder weapon without which not a single person has yet to touch is this. This one should be very easy because remember what Edgeworth and Franziska had said when they entered this room. There was one thing that only 2 people should be allowed to touch. Okay, that's all of them. Oh, anybody can touch the handle. There's one thing that only 2 people should be allowed to touch. Nobody else can touch it. The handles, anybody can touch. They're not privy to 2 people. And if you're talking about the Babyliss handle, anything that comes off on the Babyliss side cannot work in this one. Anybody can touch the sphere, okay? Anybody can touch the sphere. There's one thing that only 2 people that's allowed to touch. Anybody can touch the sword, actually. Because it was in the possession of the Steel Samurai. So which means, since it's a prop sword, everybody within the studio has had a hand on it. A little bit. But I'll give you a hint. When you see this image with Miles Edgeworth, you can actually see the thing. There is one thing in the ambassador's office that only 2 people that's allowed to lay a hand on it. Nobody else is allowed to touch it. The knife, anybody can touch that knife. It is not restricted to 2 people. I'll give you another hint. There's one on each side of the embassies. Have you figured it out yet? It's actually in this, you can see it in this image with, which statue are we talking about? We have 2 of them. Well, they're technically both gold, but you mean this statue?
Take that!
The national treasure of Albus. You mean the Prima Doc statue? Yes, and as you know, only the ambassador and his secretariat may touch it. See? Only 2 people can touch it. Which I believe means that neither you nor your men were able to examine it, correct?
Not so fast!
Ha 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 ha! You know very well that if we did that, there'd be an international incident between the Kingdom of Albus and the Republic of Babao. The 2 countries' precarious relationship teeters in the balance over a stupid fight related to a souvenirity statue. But I'll be damned if I let something go unexamined. Agent Lang, if you could take a look at this. The direction the statue is facing just before and after the crimes are different. And there is only one conclusion I can draw from that. Go look for Ambassador Alba and get him to give us the okay to examine the statue. Shifu, you can't listen to the infidel's words. If he is most definitely trying to trick you. Shifu, please, let's be rational about this. Grrr! Lang Zi says, just go already. Yes, sir. Shifu? Yeah? I'm really sorry, sir, but I was unable to convince the ambassador. I was unable to obtain permission for us to examine the Prima Doc statue. I see. Wait, but then the investigation is at a standstill. Agent Lang, I will go and speak with the ambassador personally. Save your breath. He may act all weak and frail, but that old man's one tough cookie. But I guess you've got to be tough when you're representing a whole country, you know. Agent Lang, what do you want? Let's just hurry up and examine the statue already. What? But Shifu, what about causing an international incident? Quiet! I'll take the fall if I have to later. Agent Lang, the hypothesis is mine, so if someone is to take the responsibility, let it be me. Responsibility? If we're going to take it in such heavy terms, maybe I should let you. It's like a real problem for my men if something were to happen to me. Alright then, let's talk and more investigating. If we want to know the truth, we can't stop here. Actions must be taken. Agent Lang, I like to run Illuminol chemoluminescence test on the statue. Illuminol test? Ah, good thinking. If the statue is the murder weapon, then some of the victim's blood should be on it. Okay! Let's get the forensics team in here. Well, technically, spraying luminol onto it means that they're not exactly touching it. The luminol is touching it. And you can't see luminol with the naked eye. So, they can't see it unless they put a black light to it. And the black light's only going to react to it if luminol has picked something up. So if the luminol didn't pick anything up, the black light's not going to pick it up. That's how invisible luminol is. Looks like you hit the jackpot, Mr. Prosecutor. I guess this means that this is the real weapon that killed Damas too. Which means Larry is not a suspect. Larry cannot touch the statue. Indeed. But I wouldn't celebrate yet if I were you. This doesn't let your friend off the hook. It doesn't prove that he didn't kill Damas too. So that charge remains. But it should be removed because Larry can't touch that statue. Larry has no way of touching that statue. We are hardly done examining the statue, Agent Lang. Knowing that this is the real weapon, I believe further examination is required. You think so? Okay then, knock yourself out. Oh great, now I have to actually touch the statue. And what do we have here? This dirty smudge. It looks like a handprint. Definitely from our killer. What's a definitive bit of evidence like you doing under here? Looks like we've got some fingerprints to analysis. Worst case scenario, these prints belong to Larry. Well, it's not going to belong to Larry. Larry can't touch the statue. But it looks like it's too late for me to do anything about that now. Hey, forensics guy. I want results on those fingerprints ASAP, you hear me? Agent Lang, I have the analysis results, sir. Good, and... Sir, about the prints we lifted from the bottom of the statue. Well, you know the victim of the murder in the Babalese embassy? The prints belong to him, to Mr. Manny Cochin, sir. Which actually makes sense, because he's one of the guys that can only touch that statue. So, but that's... Well, what's going on around here? Well, what can you think of is happening here? What do you think is happening here? So here's my scenario. Because it's got Manny Cochin's handprint onto it, despite the fact that he can touch both of those statues, why is Manning's hand on the bottom of that statue? I believe he swapped the two statues. No, that's impossible. So which means, because I'm more or less thinking that the bottom, that handprint is covered in ink. So the bottom of the statue is covered in ink, which means the statues were swapped before the incidents occurred. Which more or less makes me believe the reason why Manning Cochin did that, because he knows that there was a heist that was going to happen, and because one of those statues is fake, and he knows which one is the real statue, He swapped them. That's my scenario. Keep that in mind as we go through here. Keep that in mind. Each Primodoc statue can only be handled by someone of that country. But by the very fact that Mr. Coachen's fingerprints are on this one, it leads me to only one conclusion. This statue is actually Babal's Primodoc statue. Impossible! It can't be! Larry never once set foot on bubbly soil, so he was free to go. However, this new piece of information only served to confuse us even further. The ringleader of a smuggling operation was killed with an Albastine knife in Babal. And Damas too was killed on Albastine soil with Babal's national treasure. So, the scenario of the statues being swapped has already been proven. Because we do also have the Albastine knife on Babal's soil. And the mystery of the great thief Yatagarasu, who visited both countries, the pieces were there, but I had yet to see the big picture they were to form. All right, let's start brainstorming and putting things together. So, questions, concerns, criticisms. So when I first played this, I got confused by this case. But the confusion only grew my interest even more. Are you confused? How confused are you? Pretty confused. Are you confused with the fact that we have evidence that is only on Babal soil and evidence that's only on the Albastine soil? So when we do the next part of this episode, we have to divide the evidence in half, because you have to understand that evidence on Babal soil only relates to Babal soil. Evidence on the Albastine soil only relates to Albastine soil. So it's gonna still feel confusing, but in order to keep things straight, we have to separate the evidence that way. The only time we can put the evidences together is where the two embassies connect. That's the only time we can put those evidence together, is when those two pieces of the two embassies connect, and which will get pretty confusing the further we go down. All right, so yeah, next Monday we will be doing another part. It depends on how long each of them are, whether we're going to do 1 or 2 parts. So we'll figure that out when we get there. And two parts? Well, we already finished part 2. Alright, I know you can hear the music for the next part, but I will be closing that here. Alright. Actually, we're going to have about 3 or 4 parts. If I can't combine them together, it's going to be about 3 or 4 parts. Yeah. Because this episode has about 6 or 7 parts to it. So, like I said, it's a long one, but it's nowhere near as long as Rise from the Ashes. Nowhere near that long. So, let's look for a raid target. Okay, we will be raiding Wright. She is doing more Tower Fantasy and Snowbreak. Tomorrow we will be doing more Virtue's Last Reward. Wednesday we're going to be doing more Dahak. Thursday is going to be me finishing up Madden. And Friday will be more RPG Maker. Tonight will be the off season for the PFL and the Wacky Wolf Football League. We're going to try to get that pushed in so that we can get all that finished before January. And this will be it for me for tonight. So you guys all have yourselves a wonderful